Mamas, how y'all doing? I'm struggling. Yesterday was like the perfect feeling of me being back to myself. And then here we are again today, and I can't stay awake. I think I messed up though because I got up this morning and made breakfast, and then I laid down with OJ because we were watching something on Prime. I can't remember. Chasing Monsters. We were watching Chasing Monsters. Look at that! I cannot stay awake. Oh my god! And I'm so tired. Like I feel worn down. I feel run down. I've taken. Let's see. Okay, I've taken the prenatal vitamins like I'm supposed to, and I still feel like crap. Oh my gosh. I need somebody to help me with my hair. It is changing so much. It used to be all curly and pretty, and now it's just this kind of straight, kind of do what I want to do kind of thing. I don't know what is going on with it, and I'm just tired. And you be only wah. I don't feel good right now at all. Oh my goodness. And I don't want to get caught up watching YouTube and other social media, because you know how that goes. That like it just sucks you in, Oh my goodness. But today, my pregnancy is hard. It's hard today. I cannot stay awake. Yesterday, I was awake. I thought I was doing well. I got up and did my little workouts, ate some food. I slept pretty good last night or so, I thought. But then I looked at my watch this morning, and it was like you only slept for about 4 hours. The rest of the time you were, up and down to the bathroom or tossing and turning or whatever else. And I'm just like, I'm feeling it today. Like, not sleeping well messes up your whole next day. And like, I woke up this morning, it was like 5:45. So I get up and do, what I normally do, moving around just a little bit, trying to walk. And then I come and lay back down, and I'm like, okay, OJ will be up, at about 10, and we'll make some breakfast. Excuse me. You see, I cannot stop yawning. I was like, we'll make some breakfast. So we made French toast and eggs and kielbasa. But oh my gosh, after that, he had some ice cream and cake after that. So I think he was feeling pretty good. He went to work. He seemed like he was feeling pretty good. And I lay down around 1, which is when I should have gotten up to eat something. If we ate at 10. Oh my goodness, I can't stop yawning. But I just felt like I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to eat anything. My stomach felt like a little bit still full from that breakfast this morning. And I didn't even eat it all. And I was so full. So, I feel worn down. Like, everything just feels like wah. But, yeah, he didn't seem like he was feeling bad or anything when he went off to work. And at 1, that's when I was like, I just almost threw up. I was just like, let me just sit here and watch TV and, relax a little bit. And then it was like 6 after I started I guess coming back to myself, like, Vanessa, what are you doing? Why are you not eating? Are you awake? I wasn't even awake. Um, but around 6, I had a small burrito, and I put rice and beans in it, and here we are now, and it's about what, 8, quarter to 9, and I just feel like trash. So 2 things went wrong here. 1, get some sleep. 2, eat every 2 to 3 hours or you're gonna feel like crap. If I had to give any mamas any advice, my pregnant mamas, 2 things would be to definitely try your best to get as much sleep in one consistent go as you can. Oh, gracious. And 2, eat often. Even if it's just like really, really small portions, eat often. Because this feeling doesn't feel great. I was watching video earlier on YouTube, and they were talking about I guess her name is April. I don't know what her name is, but when you watch those reaction channels, they talk about other people. And this one person that they were talking about was talking about how she struggled with depression and outright didn't just go out to get treatment for it or whatever, or maybe she tried to get treatment and initially it just didn't work out for her. And as I was watching that video, I was like, wow, like the opinions that people have on what depression actually is, like, oh, well, you had a bad day and you're depressed, you need to just find coping mechanisms to get over it. Like, that's really not, well, I can't speak for everybody, but that's not how it works for me. Like, usually for me, depression looks like 3 good days, and on the 3rd day, which is seemingly a good day, everything just crashes. Like, it's not, for me, one specific instance at which you're just like, oh, now I'm sad, now I'm depressed. It's just like a lead up, a decrease of energy. And granted, I don't take any medications or anything like that, so I wouldn't know if medications, how that's done, how it helps, but I don't do any of that. But it just makes me think how people just think, oh, well, you're depressed, you need to just get yourself into a routine and you can get over it. Like, well, when you're depressed, you really don't want to be in a routine. You just, it's not that easy just to like, oh, well, I'm going to pull myself out of it and I'm going to just start doing this. Routines take time. So even if you decide on that day, like, I'm not going to try to be depressed today, I'm not going to feel low or whatever, and I'm going to start a routine, just because you did it that one day, that's not going to mean you're not depressed. And the idea of, if you're depressed, you need to go and talk to someone, what you want to talk about? Like, that's not how it works either. For me, and that's the only person that I'm talking about. When I was in Houston, I called myself getting help, right? Talking to a therapist or whatever. And of course, that turned into the ugliest situation where I felt at the end that I was being used and mistreated. But just talking to someone doesn't make depression go away. So I think that idea of just go and get help or talk to a therapist, what's that really gonna do? So I can give specific examples in my case. All right, you guys know. Hi, if you don't, I'm Vanessa. I am. And I suffer with agoraphobia. And I suffer with depression and social anxiety and PTSD. And when I was talking to a therapist, one of the things that the therapist recommended me doing was going to the grocery store, driving my car to the grocery store touching the door and then getting back in my car to go back home because I needed exposure therapy. Two things with that. One, if I'm depressed, I don't want to go to the grocery store anyway. If I have agoraphobia, I don't want to do that anyway. And at what point do you think agoraphobia just means to physically go into a space and be scared because of that space? Like touching the grocery store door, I was really almost offended when she said that to me. But this is the whole therapy thing. Like, none of that has anything to do with it. Like, going into the grocery store, and now I've gotten to the point where it's a little bit more difficult for me to walk just because I'm just pregnant and I can't breathe. But going to the grocery store before involved losing my breath when I wasn't pregnant. It involved crying, and just for me to go and touch the door and then get back in my car and go home, like, that didn't cure anything. Okay. So when you're thinking about some of these treatments that people are exposed to, right? That's, I don't know, maybe that would have helped some people, but for me, that didn't help at all. Like, I'm not scared of people. I'm not worried that a person could physically harm me or would physically harm me. That's not what it is. So to just give someone the advice to say, well, just talk to a therapist, and then the therapist's advice is, well, you need exposure therapy, so just go touch a grocery store door. Like, this is dumb, right? And when you have depression, if it doesn't make sense and it feels dumb to you, who would follow that? I mean, like, yes, I'm gonna keep going and walking to up to the grocery store door and just touch it and get back in my car and go home, and then order the groceries online like I had planned to do anyway. Like, that's sometimes what depression therapy looks like, or therapy for social anxiety or agoraphobia, and it's really not all that helpful. So with that being said, a lot of times people have to find or go through the process of meeting therapist after therapist after therapist to try and get something that actually works for them. Because for me, touching a grocery store door is no type of coping mechanism in any way at all. And when you have those issues, social anxiety, depression, anything like that, like, you don't have the energy, the wherewithal to continue to go and search for these silly, in my opinion, nonsensical resolutions to what you're going through. I mean, I'm definitely not saying that one is akin to the other, but for me, it almost feels like asking a victim to just go find someone to talk to and tell them what happened to them, no matter how much it hurts them, no matter how much they cry about it. Like, oh, well, just go tell them what happened to you. Tell them how this person hurt you. And then you go and do that and there's no resolution. It's like, well, you just got to keep trying. Just go tell somebody else. Like, I don't want to keep doing this. That's not the point of this whole activity. Like, if I'm supposed to be getting better and I'm supposed to be kind of working my way through it, I don't want to be that person who has to relive all this stress and trauma every single time I just talk to somebody. And especially if I don't even know why I'm feeling the stress and the trauma. Like, I don't know why my heart rate jumps up to 102 just because I walk into a grocery store. I don't know that. I don't understand why it does that. I don't understand why it makes me cry when several people are standing around me, even if they're not talking to me, even, just the fact that they're in close enough proximity to possibly be able to touch me. Like, going to the grocery store, touching a door is not going to stop me from crying when people do those types of things. So I know I'm just venting, ranting a little bit, clearly losing my breath. Like, agoraphobia is hard. So just just a little bit more, show a little bit more understanding, and not that mindset that, oh, well, I just don't understand. If you know you got mental health problems, just go seek treatment. Yeah, that makes perfect sense for you who doesn't have any mental health problems and you're at the doctor's office every other week. Like, yes, that's okay for you, but someone who's actually struggling with this, it's not going to be the same just okay for them just, jump up and go do it. So that had me a little irritated. What else? I'm so tired. I can't even think. Oh my gosh, what else? That was all the only thing that I watched, but I was just sitting here thinking about that because it's just like, I don't want to be scared. I don't want to feel anxiety around other people. And a lot of times for me, I think I'm pretty good at faking it. I can fake it, and I can fake it, but it's getting harder to do. So before, when I was teaching inside of the classroom, I feel like I could fake it for maybe 4 days. And by Friday, I'm spent. If there were any new people introduced to my class on Friday, or if we had, someone come through or field trip or anything like that, like I couldn't handle that. Like it was just too much because I feel like my energy reserve, my tolerance level, whatever had been going down throughout the week. And now I feel like I'm in about like 2 to 3 days because I can, I go to work now. And by Wednesday, I'm like, okay, I've had enough. Like if anything happens tomorrow, y'all are on your own because I don't have the energy for it. And it's not like physical energy, because like right now I'm tired and I don't have any physical energy, like, and I just woke up from a nap. I don't know if I didn't eat well, I don't know, whatever. This is like a physical energy thing. That's not what I'm talking about with agoraphobia and depression and all of that. For me, it is like a mental energy. Like I've had enough. I can't deal with this anymore without crying or without breaking down or without just wanting to leave the situation completely. Like I can't do that, or I struggle more with doing that after a certain number of days. It's like my tolerance has just fell down so low, and maybe that's why the medications help people, because they don't feel like that depleted at the end of each day where they're trying to recover overnight. Maybe that's what it does. I don't know, because I don't take those things, but for me, that's where I'm at. Like Monday, okay, and I spend Monday night trying to recover. Tuesday, it's just like, what's gonna happen today? And then I spend a little bit more time trying to recover. But by the end of Wednesday, I'm just like, man, whatever happens Thursday, that's what happens. Like, I can't even deal. Like, I'm not even trying at this point. And then that just makes me think, because it goes back to my idea of just seeking treatment if you have any mental health disorder. Like, you truly do get tired of trying, because you can go and talk to someone. What is this? I'm sorry, I got distracted. You can go and talk to someone, to a therapist. And in my case, the only therapist that I had ever, spoken to, and they seem genuinely concerned about what's going on, but then manage to somehow insert themselves into a space, I think, really beyond where they should be. And then you get advice like, go and touch a door, and I think you're fine because you could go and touch the door, or in my case, you can ride on an airplane and not allow or cause the airplane to fall out of the sky. Like, That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So I don't know, and I'm not telling anybody what to do or how to handle any situation with anyone else. I'm just saying, you know, it may not be what you think it is. And telling someone, well, if you knew you had a problem, why don't you seek help? What benefit is the help sometimes? You know, especially if you're not that person who takes medication. And I don't know. Now, just for me, speaking on myself, I'm sorry. Let me stop real quick, because if this video ends, I just had to quickly go and blow chunks, and then I'm coming back, y'all. But I can like feel it. Oh my gosh, I can like feel it like building up a little bit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. But like I was saying, speaking on my situation, my issue was never really one single thing, one single trigger. There is never, from my understanding, just one thing that triggers me. It's just like when I get too spent, that's when I've had enough, and I'm just like, I just can't take this anymore, and I can't not cry, or I can't motivate myself or will myself to go and do the things that I need to do to be successful during the day or whatever. Like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm just so spent, I can't do anything else. And now I think it's a lot harder for me because I'm pregnant now. So it's I already felt like I had a chronic fatigue syndrome prior to, and y'all know I've been working out, I've been eating healthy, I've been trying to do, you know, all of the right things as far as taking supplements and, you know, being in the best body that I can possibly be in. And I still felt like I had chronic fatigue syndrome there. I was always tired. I was always, you know, just feeling poorly. But I can honestly say I didn't go to a doctor. I didn't, because I didn't want to be in that space. I didn't want to be in that environment. I didn't want to put myself into a space that was going to take more energy out of me than what I already had. So I can be honest with you. If it's chronic fatigue syndrome, it is absolutely undiagnosed, because I don't know. But now that I'm pregnant, and I just went to the doctor like a month ago, so not maybe 3 weeks ago. But now it's like it's compounded, right? My energy reserve is so much lower, because not only did I have the fatigue and the tiredness from what I was feeling before, but now I'm not even eating the same way that I was doing before. I'm not working out. I'm not moving my body the same way. And all of that has a huge and significant impact on me. And I think now, if I talk to a therapist and I'd be given the advice to go touch a grocery store door, like, I would probably get more pissed off about it now. Like, before, I really just like, oh, well, she's trying, you know, she's just trying to help me cope and, you know, think of some strategies or whatever, which I don't feel like the words I was saying was even listened to, because at no point did I ever say that I was scared to, like, touch a grocery store door. I don't know. Like, I don't want to go in there, so somehow that related to her mind, well, if you go and touch it, then you'll be less scared to go in there. I don't know. Maybe that's what she was thinking. Don't know. But then again, at the same time, that's why, at the way I'm feeling now, I don't really trust to go and ask anyone for help. Like, why should I? Because you're just going to tell me to go touch a door. Like, I could touch a door. That's not going to help me not cry. That's not going to help my heart rate not jump to 102. That's not going to help me not feel nauseous. Like, it's not going to help any of those things. So I think it's just, I don't know, being depressed or whatever, having whatever mental health disorder, it can feel very much like no one's really concerned on how to help you fix the problem. They're just throwing solutions at you, hoping that one sticks. And that's already my opinion on medical practices anyway. Like, obviously, that's why they call it the word practice, because they're practicing on you. They don't know if it's going to work. You don't know if it's going to work. You're just kind of hoping that they're practicing correctly for you, not just practicing correctly in the sense of being a medical doctor, but giving you what you actually need. And when you have depression, that is something that is so draining. Like, I don't want to go to all of these people and try to explain over and over and over again the things that I'm dealing with just to be told silliness like, go touch a door. Like, and if that was the advice that was given to you and it worked for you, shout out to you. It does nothing for me. I can touch doors. That's not a big deal. And I feel like I have so little trust when it comes to therapists and doctors and things like that, because it is a practice. It truly is a practice. They're practicing on you, and hopefully it'll work. The same way, as a teacher. Like, teaching is not considered a practice, but you're trying all of these different methods to communicate a message to students and hope that something sticks or hope that something works for them. Now, yes, in general, we can say strategy XYZ works for majority of the students. So, of course, that's your tier 1 or your go-to strategy. But then you have to think, when it goes to the medical practice, medical issues usually are not just tier 1 issues, in the same sense as we're talking about education, especially if you have mental health disorders. It's not just a tier 1 thing like, oh, well, you're triggered by seeing dogs, so we're going to give you this medication so now dogs are invisible to you. Like, you just can't do things like that. And to have that one specific trigger or that one specific issue, that would be great. But I don't feel like most people who have any type of mental health disorders are just triggered by one single thing. I don't think it's like an agoraphobia. I don't think it's like, just one single thing you can pinpoint. It's just like a multitude of energies that I just can't handle. So, anywho, all that talking just to say, be a little bit more kind. I mean, I watch a lot of social media about fat activism and health at every size. And, I really like hearing other people's perspectives. What is your opinion on this position? What is your opinion on that position? But for some reason, whenever I hear people talking about mental health, and of course, because it's directly related to me, I feel that it's a little bit harder to hear some of these opinions like, well, if you have problems, then just go talk to someone. Well, talk to someone and what are they going to say? Like, oh, well, if you have problems, then you get help. Do you know it's really not that helpful? It really isn't. And then, if you're compounding problems, if you're already someone who, let's just bring up anything, like you have financial constraints and seeing a medical doctor is a strain for you. Not just because you have a disability or a disorder, but financial strain for you. Then that's compounding it. That's adding more stress to what a person with that disorder may already have. Or let's say you can get the medical appointments, you can pay for the medical appointments, but the transportation, the actual movement from your specific location to the doctor's location or the medical office can be an energy drainer for you. So, like, how you're going to be able to navigate that. And then you go in and you talk about your problems and you have to discuss those. It's just like for me, there's no one single trigger that I can see that would really, be a tier 1 or a blanket kind of treatment that you can get for everyone, because it is so different. It is so different. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. Because as I was watching that, I was thinking, like, the fact that she came on to say, these are the things that I'm doing that I was struggling with. And then you see people in the comments like, oh, well, if she needed help, she should have just went to a doctor. Just because you go to a doctor doesn't mean you're going to get sufficient help. Like, that's just fact. Just because you go, that's just fact, right? And another instance that I can bring up on this, clearly I have my own issues. And the very first appointment that I tried to make with this pregnancy, I talked to the person on the phone and I was like, look, I got issues. I can't come in there for no foolishness. I need to come in, see a doctor, check my baby, make sure everything is fine, like, whatever. So this person on the phone was like, oh, I'm going to call in the charge nurse. I understand. I have family members or friends that are dealing with these same type of issues. Mind you, she's on this tier 1 mindset. And she's like, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry. We'll get your appointment there early in the morning. So when I go, it's a pretty good hour. The office wasn't filled with people. It was okay. OJ was with me. We go in. They just kind of skip past the weight check, the blood pressure, the all of that. And they're like, okay, well, we've just basically brought you in today so that we can tell you all of the conditions that your baby possibly could have, but they don't, because we don't know. We haven't actually checked or done anything, but we just want you to know that because you're Black, you're probably gonna die, and because you're a female having a baby, you're probably gonna die. And let's not mention the fact that you're a Black female having a baby, you're probably gonna die. And I'm just like, is this what I came to this checkup for? This is the help that I'm supposed to be getting, that you just want me to sign all of these papers that I understand that I could possibly die from something that I clearly don't even have, but I might have in the future, or that the baby might develop in the future. And like, I just started to lose it. So that's my point there. Just because you go and seek treatment and as candid and as honest as you can be, that doesn't mean you're going to get a resolution to the problem. That just means that now I'm in a space where I don't even want to go. Like, tell me on the phone exactly what you plan to do before I come there, or I'm not coming. Like, I don't need a medical professional to lie to me just to get me into this clinic to sign some papers when they know I have agoraphobia and social anxiety and all these other issues that stress me out. And it was so crazy because when I left there, the lady's response, the one that I had talked to on the phone, when she sees me leaving, clearly, visibly upset, she was like, oh, well, I didn't think she was going to be that bad. Like, what? You've just decided that you never know me. I never met you. We just had a conversation on the phone. I told you that I was scared, that I had issues, that I had needs. And you have already decided that you didn't think it was that bad. And then I still have to endure that. Like, none of that show stopped because she just made the decision that she made. Like, none of that stopped. And I went home and I cried and I was like just sick to myself. Like, I was just like sick. Like, that was a whole waste of my time. So not only did I waste my time going there, not only did I deplete my energy that obviously I needed for the rest of the week, but I missed going to work somewhere where I actually felt safe, that I felt comfortable. Like, I missed all of that because she decided that she didn't think it was that bad. And when people make comments, well, if you have a disorder, just go and get treatment. It's not always what you think it is. So just be kind. Ranted a lot, said a lot, but it's not what you think it is. So before you're that person to try to give advice, to say, well, talk to your doctor first. For what? I'm just saying, just think about it. Just maybe you shouldn't be the one. I can't breathe. Maybe you shouldn't be the one to interject and give advice to go see a doctor when there are so many problems with seeing a doctor. There are so many, and there are great doctors. Do not misunderstand me and think, oh, well, Vanessa, just because you had a bad experience with a doctor doesn't mean all doctors are bad. I know absolutely that all doctors are not bad, but I also know that I have agoraphobia, PTSD, depression, anxiety, all of that stuff. So one bad doctor, and in my case, it was actually two bad doctors, the therapist for the mental health, and then this most recent doctor that I tried to go to and see, and then the receptionist decided that she didn't think it was that bad. So that's two negative experiences. Where am I supposed to go from that? Am I just supposed to trust that the next doctor I go to is not going to give me that same negative experience and make up their own situation and decide how bad it is supposed to be for me? Or are they going to actually listen when I say that's not going to work for me? So, yes, giving advice, maybe you should see a doctor, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe you should see a preacher. Maybe you should see a pastor. I don't know, because I'm not telling anybody what to say. I feel like 9 times out of 10 when someone says that, it's genuinely in good faith that they are, expecting that you will be taken care of and expecting that you're not going to get mistreated. But then at the same time, we all know it happens. And for some reason, it always happens to people who are more weak and more vulnerable, and people who are dealing with trauma, and whatever happens is much more traumatizing to them. Maybe that's the situation. So, I don't know. I gotta go, y'all. I'm about to throw up. Bisous, bisous.